Hello again, Libra. Nice to have your company for September 2016. Dadhichi here from astrology.com.au, and the significant positions of the planets this month seem to be focused in on your 12th house, which is notorious for not just charitable acts but for high expenditure. It is also the house of secrets, and having a new moon and at the same time an eclipse taking place in this area on the 1st of the month sets the trend for the rest of September. And it is significant because this gives you the opportunity to go back in time and really unearth those things that have been holding you back. And we see that your courage has been held back a little bit. Your ability to move forward and do what it is you want has been held back due to the fact that you had that tough conjunction of Mars and Saturn forming up until last week, when I'm pleased to say now that that has moved away. That's in your 3rd house of courage, valor, the thinking mind, and along with that your ruling planet Venus is now transiting your sun sign up until the latter part of the month, when it moves into your finance sector, and that will take place on the 24th of September. So there's a lot happening for you, but focusing back in on that 12th house, we have not only the new moon eclipse, we have a conjunction of Mercury and Jupiter taking place. Mercury being a retrograde planet this month, friendly to you, but nevertheless, really making your thinking deep, analytical. And that 12th house is the house of secrets. So it's almost as if you're trying to unearth something. You're trying to remove something from within yourself that, even if you can't intellectually understand it, you may intuitively feel it as being obstructive to your path at this particular point in time. I've got to say something on that, because sometimes these emotional issues that may be tucked away for years and years, because this is what this 12th house is about. It's about unearthing the past, those things that unconsciously, along with the 8th house, may unconsciously undermine us. The problem there is that Mercury, which is retrograde and very, very powerful now, is going to be really an intellectual vantage point on something that may not be resolved intellectually. So that is why the 12th house is also considered a spiritual house. In Hindu astrology, it is called the moksha sthana, moksha meaning liberation. It is the house or the sector of disembodiment. And when we see strong beneficial planets there at the time of birth, we can safely assume that the person is of a spiritual nature and may attain a high level of spirituality as they continue along their path. So that's just a point of advice there. What may help you more this month, rather than tackling the problem with this intellectual retrograde Mercury, is to sit down there and use the energies of Jupiter and the Sun, because these two planets are more meditative in quality. Jupiter ruling the sign of Sagittarius and Pisces, and especially if you're trying to solve problems. Let's look at this. Jupiter is one of the planets, along with Neptune, ruling your 6th house of health, disease, debts and expenses. That planet, if it's used in the way that it should be, through meditative exercises, silence, some astrologers in the East refer to this planet as Dakshinamurti, the guru of silence. So silence itself, believe it or not, may be the key to solving some of these stubborn problems, which are not even in the conscious realm of your being. So using the meditative practices can help you overcome that. Great communication, and again I'm going to say communication here in terms of communicating, connecting with those parts of yourself that need to be released this month. A very psychological reading for you this month, Libra. And that happens when Mercury makes that conjunction on the 3rd. So it's straight into the month, straight after that new moon. There's going to be bang, bang. some very powerful astrological patterns forming that give you the opportunity to work through this. And then we see that whatever revision you're making in this area on the 22nd, when it goes direct, is the likely time when things can start to become clearer for you. Mind you, before that, you may have some internal conflicts, if not external conflicts, with people you're related to, notably your partner, spouse or lover, when Mercury moves into the square aspect on the 13th. So leading up to that point, there may be some distractions. Mars is the ruler of your 7th house. It also rules the 2nd house, which is money. So there could be some financial squabbles there. Again, it's tying back in with that thread of expenses that we've been talking about here. Charitable acts that need to be very, very carefully monitored in terms of the type of people, the recipients who are spinning you the hard luck story. Because you're likely to simply believe anything during this, what we call stellium. That's more than a couple of planets, 4 planets in fact, congregating in that 12th house of your horoscope. There's another aspect there which has to do with your relationships. It's the square aspect of your ruling planet, Venus, to Pluto in your 4th house, which is your domestic sphere, and has a lot to say about relationships with your mother, some of the other closest relatives, the domestic state of affairs. And when Venus moves to the square of that on the 11th, that's when there may be some manipulation, emotional blackmail, undermining of relationships due to that pattern. That may happen as a result of your own action, being maybe too demanding of people. You want things to change, and Scorpio is also playing into this because Pluto rules that planet. It's a renovation of sorts. In fact, sometimes it's complete demolition of things. So it could be a reconstruction of the house, interior design, that sort of thing. I'd be seeing that more likely to happen when Mars moves into that place next month, and I'll talk about that in your next reading for October. But just to recap, that new moon, which happens on the 1st, swings around into a full moon into your 6th house, which is your work house, your house of debt, and also health. And that occurs on the 17th. Again, an eclipse. So you've got 2 eclipses across this 6-12 axis of service, charitable and generous acts, work and health. So all of these things will be tied in, and it's important for you to use these energies to sort through those problems from your past, those behavioural patterns that are maybe causing you to repeat actions and find yourself in the same circumstances over and over again. I think through that deep meditative practice that we've talked about, through the use of the energies of the new moon eclipse in your 12th house, and this positive energy of Venus moving through your sun sign, you can indeed achieve that this month. So Libra, don't forget to stop off at astrology.com.au to get your fix for the daily, also the more elaborate reading for the monthlies and the contextual reading for the year, what's left of it in 2016. Until next month, take care, and I look forward to your company again. Bye-bye.